and we are here for the Intuitive You Show, and I'm so happy to be here today with Alyssa Williamson, who is one of my dear best friends and also an amazing, just successful businesswoman, intuitive success coach. She lives in Mount Shasta. She just moved there with her new partner, and just life is really exploding for her. So I wanted to bring her on because she's just really a master manifester. And I know she has 3 keys that she's going to share with us today about really just letting go of the old, stepping into the new, and really powerfully, obviously, stepping into 2022. And those of you that are listening to this recording later, whatever is after that, right? So welcome, Alyssa. If there's anything else you want to share with our listeners, I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you. Yeah, this is really exciting. I'm not a New Year's resolution person, but I believe in always working towards your dreams. So now is a good time just because it's the end of the year, out with the old, in with the new, or just a reset too. And so, yeah, I love this and I'm excited to talk today.
That's so awesome. So, all right, well, do you want to dive right in? Like, what are the 3 keys? And yeah, just kind of framing, what people's best life is, what that really means to you, so if you all want to think about, what that means to you. And then, as you're listening to Alyssa, kind of see how you can apply it to yourself. So yeah, go for it, Liz.
Yeah, and that's also something I've come across is that a lot of people have stopped dreaming or stopped believing in those dreams that they had. Yeah. And so for me, it's about lifestyle goals. Like, what do you want to experience? How do you want life to be?
Yeah.
It's not just business. It's not just family. It's not just personal. It's all areas of it.
Right.
Do you want freedom to do what you want when you want, to follow your inspiration, to follow your intuition, to travel, to love the work that you're doing so that you make a difference in the world? That's and so 3 steps that I broke it down into, because it's the process of manifesting is so simple, but yet it can be so challenging because it takes a lot of belief work. And so that's why, and the 3 steps that I did, I was talking about today is, first is decluttering, the second is gaining clarity, and then the third is the manifesting step. And so decluttering is so important because we just build up baggage along the way. Like, we pick up other people's stuff, we have our own beliefs from childhood. And it's just a continual process. It's sort of like cleaning your house. Like, things just build up in piles and you're like, how did this get here? And how is my desk covered in things? How are our tables? Yeah. Like, how does this just get here? Like, things just come in, and unless you filter them out, they're going to end up stuck somewhere. And so I love decluttering both physically and just mentally. And that's a process that we do even in the Intuitive Success Coaching program, is clearing the blocks. And that's what I also consider part of decluttering, is it's always a process of clearing those blocks.
Totally. And the other thing that comes to mind, Liz, is the emotional blocks, right? So the mental, emotional, and physical things, because to me, I always see them as like energy blockages, like you talk about, right? And so it's like wherever that energy is built up and the life force isn't like flowing through, to be able to actually release that and open up to new energies. So I would love for you to maybe share, if you want, some just exercises or way people can actually declutter whatever's going on in their physical body, their mental health, emotional health, or maybe even in your home, like in your space. Yeah.
And I think it's funny. I'm a Taurus, so I love filling my home with luxuries, but at the same time, I love decluttering, so it's sort of minimal. And so that's sort of, I'll start with the physical. So I recently moved, and in the process, it's like, you're like, how do I have so much stuff? How do I have boxes and boxes of things that fit in the house? And so I'm having so much fun just enjoying being like, does this still serve me? Is this something that I still want in my space? Okay, maybe it no longer is a piece that I want. I can let this go. And so being okay with, it's almost like thanking, and this goes both energetically and physically, thanking the item. Thank you for your place in my life. Thank you for your role. Even the things you don't want. So it's almost bringing gratitude in. So gratitude is so powerful. So maybe it's a fear you have, and you're like, thank you for keeping me safe. I now release you. Or thank you for being this art. I now release you. Like, you can go make someone else's home pretty.
Right. I love that. Well, you're basically, you're seeing the positive, right? So you're taking the gift, you're preserving the positive byproduct, as we talk in NLP, and then you're like letting the rest go. It's like taking the trash out for what you don't need, right? I love it.
Yes. Beautiful. And that's where like emotions come up too. And you're like, why do I feel so bad right now? And all you can be is like, Thank you, emotions, for letting me know where I am. Thank you for letting me know I'm not happy with this. I'm not in a happy place, and that I can adjust. Rather than getting stuck in the blah-ish and the like negativity, just be like, thank you. Like, you're here for a reason, and now I release you. And visualization is so powerful. I also do theta healing, and so we go into like theta mode and do this. But even before that, I was visualizing things. Like I would have visualized I would just visualize things I didn't want, just sort of letting them dissolve and float away and then be replaced by positive, powerful, like golden light or something. So even before I knew what I was doing, I was just like, I can let this go. So even you on your own, just sort of visualizing, sitting there, finding some of that stuff you don't like, and just visualize letting it dissolve, like releasing it and letting it disconnect and unhook from you.
I like that. And then the other thing that comes to mind is like, what do you need to shift into the positive? Like, what will you need to do to feel better? Like, you know, the second chakra from the intuitive course of like, okay, what do you need to do to feel good, right? To like move it in that right direction. So that's another question I think you can ask to follow up after you basically clear out the negative, like you just did a beautiful visualization for. Yeah, absolutely.
And part of it is too, is that it helps to have someone. As coaches, we have coaches that help us through these things too. There's always things where just someone outside of you gives you that accountability. So I always like give tools so that you can do it on your own, but at the same time, find someone that is where you want to be and they can help you get through this stuff and through this process, like in any area. I was listening to some podcasts yesterday and they're like, this lady who's a multimillionaire, she's like, I have a fitness coach, I have a business coach, I have a mindset coach, I have this, I have that. Like, there's always like, it's fun to be developing and growing yourself, but it's not always fun to do it on your own.
Yeah, it's a team. Like, you know, we're all part of the same team now because it's like, that's where I was like, I just want a team and it's so much more fun. So what support do you need to help you declutter and get clarity and manifest? That's another great question to ask because I really feel like the universe provides, you know, so ask,
ask who can support me. And maybe it's like I moved here and then came across this awesome neighbor and we've been having coffee or chai once a week and just catching up. And it's like,
awesome.
I didn't know, like I was feeling lonely the week before and I was like, I have no friends. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was turned around. So here's an example. I just moved to a really small town and I was like, I've lost all my stuff. Like I had this really awesome workout that I really enjoyed. I felt really fit from it and I lost that. And I had to go back to the gym and I had no friends and I was sitting at home all day working. And one morning I woke up and I'm like, I'm not happy. And then I was like, okay, then what do I need to be happy? Like now that I know it, thank you for realizing I'm not happy.
Right.
What do I need to do to change that?
Right.
Okay. Well, you know what? I need to work out some more. I need to find my workout, my routine. And I'm like, I just need to go find a friend. And then a week later, my neighbor and I are like, have a 3-hour coffee and we only stop because we're like, oh, we're hungry. We need to go get some food. So you have neighbors too. So here you are. Here I manifested that too. Like awesome neighbors.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I love it. Which it probably brings us more into that next step of clarity, right? You know, it's like you're getting clear about what it is that you want, what is it that you need. Anything else you want to teach about just the clarity piece of maybe getting more specific about what you want? I know that can be effective sometimes.
Yes. So that is huge for me. And so clarity and decluttering can sort of intermingle a little bit. So you need to declutter to get rid of all the junk that maybe is holding you back. But then clarity, you're like, ooh, now when I know what I want, I can move forwards to it. I say this a lot in my coaching clients. Like if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there.
Yeah.
Like if you go into the forest without a map and you just wander forever, okay, you're going to end up and you're going to starve in the forest and never reach your destination because you don't know where you're going. If you're like, I want to reach this waterfall, you're going to find the path to get you there, or you're going to go in the direction. And so clarity gives you that. It tells you where you want to be. Clarity can be, I want to be able to travel twice. I want to go traveling twice a year. I want to have this much income so that I can do this and X, Y, Z. I want to have this business, whatever it is, like clarity of, oh, I'm not happy. That's clarity too. Okay, then I can do something about it. But until you get clarity, you can't move forward. And then once you have clarity, you can declutter more because you're like, oh, now I know what I want. This doesn't serve me.
Yeah.
So let's let this go.
Yeah, totally. The other thing that comes to mind is like your heart, right? Because I think we can say like we want something in our head, but to actually feel it in your heart, because it's so much the essence of what you want, right? Like, you know, you want this new business. Okay, why do you want the business? Like, what speaks to your heart about that? Like, what makes your heart sing? You know what I'm saying? To really feel the energy of that. So if you want to add anything around, you know, the essence piece and connecting to the emotion and like the soul, you know, because I know for you, you know, one of your things, like when you came to me, you would, you know, you're successful in these other businesses, but you're like, hey, like I want my heart and soul business, like my intuitive coaching business. Like, so there's a certain thing about like what type of business, what's the energy behind it, you know? So if you want to maybe just support people to find what that deeper emotional soul piece is, and then you kind of click into alignment even easier and things start coming to you, you know?
Yeah. And I always sort of put that in my bio today because that's been my journey is, okay, I was manifesting by accident.
Yeah.
And then when I connected to my intuition,
yeah,
is when I was able to, one, know what I want and have clarity, and two, just manifest it like a badass.
Yeah.
And that's really what intuition is about, is your inner knowing, your higher self. And so really connecting to your heart and your gut. And that's, we do a lot of that in the Intuitive Success Coaching Program, leading people through that process of activating their chakras. But even just how to, like, in this moment, get back into your heart. How can you look at this from love? And it's an ongoing learning process too. Like, and so it's practice too. Like every time you're like, ooh, I'm not in my heart, I get to go back into my heart now.
Yeah.
I get this again, this is a lesson. Look, I got this clarity. I fell out of my heart. Okay, I'm just drop into my heart. I'm drop into my gut. And what is true and what do I want?
Yeah.
And what brings me joy? I liked my favorite phrase is what brings me joy.
Right? Yeah. I love that.
That way.
It's just funny, like right as you said, like hop into your, like get into your heart, we had like instantly more viewers. And it's because the thing is, like, people feel the vibration of love. So when we open our heart and we're connected, it's like people like feel it, right? So just know, like, love is the strongest power of the universe, right? So when you're connecting to your heart, it's like a magnetic force bringing more good to you. It really is.
And it's almost like you want to get to the point that life feels magical. You're like, how did this happen? Because that's how it works. Like you just bump into this person that leads to something else, and it's
totally. Yep.
It's just like, wow. Like,
yeah. Synchronicity.
Amazing.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think as far as the clarity piece, it's, you know, knowing what you want, having the thought, connecting with your heart into the essence, and then dropping into your gut to get that intuitive guidance. You know, is this a yes or a no to take this action or not the action, or, you know, kind of use that.
And learning to trust your intuition too, and not just ignore it. I was that way, and I have a lot of clients that way, where it's like, okay, work has to be done in our minds. So I always say, make it a game to like connect with your intuition, make it a game to ask it questions and do fun things, and really just explore. And I could go so deep on that, but there's a whole process to clarity, because sometimes you are stuck, and sometimes you're like, I've lost my passion, I don't know what to do, or I just feel like I'm stuck in a hole and I can't get out. And so that's where like a helping hand helps, or there's a process, or having sort of that expertise. So there are times where it takes a little bit longer, and you just then, and this sort of gets into manifesting too. So they all lead into one to the other. One of the things about manifesting is just trusting and having faith that you know that it is coming and it is there for you. And so sometimes when you're stuck in the hole, all you can do is be like, it's coming to me. Like, all the good, the universe is rearranging itself for my best interest. And that's where having someone else, again, guidance, and someone else, an accountability buddy, a coach, someone there, a friend who's just got your back and able to get you out of there.
Yeah, and sees you. So yeah, there's a couple things that come to mind. So I guess the first thing that's popping, to just go with it, is, I don't know if anybody's seen this movie, but I've watched it over and over. And I think it's called A Boy Called Christmas. And the point of it, this one point that I want to mention, is this boy is in the middle of like the forest. It's all snowy white. And he falls to the ground because he's so freezing cold. And this elf comes to like rescue him. And he's like, I'm trying to get to like Elf Town, which I think it's like called Elf Town. And the elf was like, but he's like, so the little boy's like, but I can't see it. I can't see it. And the elf was like, Well, you have to believe to be able to see it. You can't you have to just believe to even be able to look a little bit deeper, a little bit further. So I think when you tap into that intuitive knowing, you connect to, yeah, deep down, I do know that good is coming, and you believe it. And like you said, have your friends, your coach or whatever support you in that direction. It's like, it starts to propel you forward. It really does. So to your point, believe in it, so you can actually see it.
And it's like a great example right now is the housing market.
Yeah.
I was talking to a real estate agent, and the housing market's been crazy since like since 2012 was the first time I was looking for a house.
Yeah.
Where multiple offers, over asking, it just seems impossible. And I was talking to a real estate agent the other day, and they're like, yeah, my buyers put in so many offers and they just keep getting rejected. And I'm like, that's not my reality. I've bought 4 houses since 2012.
Yeah.
And I was always the only offer. The house was waiting for me, and I went under. And so it sounds so Pollyanna, but you do get to control your reality too. And I just knew, I'm like, there's a house there for me, and it's going to be easy. And I just knew to my core. Totally. And that is, sometimes it's easier to just have that core knowing, and other times you have to create and add to that core knowing until it becomes a true belief.
Yeah.
And so that's a process too.
Yeah. Well, to me, that's intuition. And I remember even calling me like, Abby, is it this? And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, you trusted it, and then you just get huge results, right? So that's the benefit of trusting your intuition, because it's connecting you to the truth. It's connecting you to the knowing.
Yeah. And sometimes sometimes it's one area where it's like, oh, I totally can do that. And sometimes you're like, but I have some doubts. Can I not? And then you have to do the inner work of decluttering, let go of those beliefs that are holding you back. So it all comes back to this same cycle of how can you declutter, NLP, common other technique that I've come across a lot is EFT, tapping, and there's Ho'oponopono, I can't say it, the forgiveness. So so there's all these different techniques that you can bring together and do on your own or get help with too.
Yeah. I mean, and as you know, because you've been doing this for so long, but Alyssa is actually one of our coaches. So she takes you through the full Intuitive Success Club, which is the activation and the clearing the blocks. So she can do it for you, and then the manifesting piece. So it's it can be so easy when you follow a proven process, instead of you could do this or that. It's like, hey, this just works, go for it, And I know she has an intro workshop coming up in January too, where you can just get to know her better. So you're going to learn a little bit more about that later. But it really is, it is simple, right? It's just practicing it, right? Declutter it, clearing the blocks, get the clarity, and manifest, right? But it's each day knowing what that is and doing the practices, Yeah.
And really looking at it backwards, manifesting is when you see a clear path to your end goal. Yeah. And you just it's like looking down the road and you're like, oh, there it is. It's when you travel, you know that you're going to land in, say you're going to Greece. You know that when you get on the flight, you're going to end up in Greece. You just know it. That's, you bought the ticket. That's what's going to happen. You don't be like, oh, well, maybe we're actually going to go to China, or maybe we're going to end up in the ocean. Well, maybe some people think that, but for the most part, you just know, oh, I'm going to get there. And that's what manifesting is. Oh, I'm going to make this much money, or I'm going to buy this house. When you see it and you just know, then you clear that. And if you have obstacles in the path, then you need to declutter. If you don't have clarity, then you need to work on your clarity aspect. So it's just the cycle that, okay, where am I working on today? Am I good and I can manifest? Maybe I should do some decluttering first. Maybe I just need to get focused and visualize and see my goal first. And all of these things, I walk my clients through as well. And you too.
I was just going to say, just book an intro session, because you need to kind of have it applied to you, Yeah. And actually, with that, do you want to just offer maybe your email that people can reach out to you for that?
Sure. Or go to, so I do, that's why I call what I offer a clarity call. We can't move forward. You can't make a decision until you have clarity. So on my website, alyssawilliamson.com, ALYSSA, Williamson with an SON.com, you can request a free clarity call. And that's also where you can learn about my upcoming workshop in Friday, January 21st from 11 to 12:30 Pacific. And it's manifesting your 2022 desires. So I'm walking you through the things you need to do it on your own. and you've got an action plan to move forward.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So awesome. So awesome. It's going to be amazing. Well, is there anything else that you want to share that's coming to mind as far as, really connecting into your intuition and being able to just manifest from that place of love? Anything else that comes through?
That was exactly what I was going to say, is that it really all comes back to your intuition. You can use your intuition to declutter. Like, your intuition will tell you, oh, this feels heavy, this feels dark. Your intuition will help you gain clarity. Your intuition will help you manifest. So those are all the pieces
that you need.
It all comes back to, if you can do nothing else, like if you had to do one thing and you're like, I need one thing to work on, just connect to your intuition, because then you have the ability. I say I'm a manifesting coach, but really I'm empowering, or both of us do it. We empower our clients to trust ourselves so that they create the life they want. You get the resources. And that's really what it is about. When you're connected to your intuition, then you get to create.
Totally. 100%. So, I'm always about like practical stuff. So I'm like wondering if you can do like a little exercise for people to A, connect with their intuition, and B, trust it. Because I think that like we know, but then do we always trust it? I noticed that for myself. It's like, wow, I know, but am I really trusting it? So that would be awesome if you wanted to.
Yeah. And actually, let's do this. Let's close your eyes. And so I'm going to add in, I love grounding. And so like when you're grounded, so back up a step. So your subconscious is tied to your body. So your connection to your subconscious is by what your body is telling you. And that's also where you feel your intuition. So when you get into your body, that's when you have the deepest connection. So grounding is huge. Getting out in nature, but so, okay, close your eyes. And I want you to just visualize, feel the energy in your body. Feel how it is. Maybe it's a little bit stagnant. Maybe you've been sitting for a while. And just notice the energy from your hands and arms, through your core, down your legs. And as you're moving, just sort of gather it all. Gather it like a ball, moving through your body. And take it down your legs, and down your feet. And take it down into the earth, and almost visualize roots of energy coming out from your feet, going wide and deep. 30 feet wide, 30 feet deep, expanding. Just anchoring you into the earth, this warm, loving Mother Earth. And I love, now that I'm near Mount Shasta, I literally visualize like anchoring right into Mount Shasta and just getting that energy. So if there's a place in nature that's really powerful to you, just visualize yourself anchoring there. Visualize yourself as a tree growing roots in this peaceful place. And just feel your energy going out, and feel Mother Earth's energy coming back to you, filling you up. Today I see green light. So seeing a green light come back up from the earth and through your body. And coming up through your legs, to your core, up your neck, to your head, and down your arms. And just circling up your back and down your chest, going through your body, and just energizing you and connecting you, bringing love. Green is the color of the heart chakra. So connecting to your heart, seeing this ball of green energy at your heart. And now just bring your focus and your attention to your heart. And that energy, I see like an emerald green when I see it. And just see it growing as you're spinning it clockwise. And just feel that. Feel love in that moment. And if you see any other color, bring that into it. And then here, I want you to just take slow, deep breaths. It's almost like 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. So you're doing the box breath of 4, 4, 4. Just feel how your body's relaxing. And you're just sort of relaxing back into your sit-ins. And your body's almost glowing like this emerald green energy everywhere. And now that you're in your heart, in your heart chakra, drop your focus and consciousness down to your gut, where your intuition is. And from that place, you're knowing. You dropped into your heart, so you see with love, and then you're dropping into knowing. What is your deepest desire in your heart at this moment? What would you like to see happen in the next 12 months? And just whatever the first thing that pops into your mind. And give that desire love. Fill it with green energy. Give it your attention. And honor it. Put it in like a place of honor in your gut. That you're like, yes, this is coming, and I'm gonna keep track of this. I'm gonna watch it. It's now a goal that I'm working towards. And just feel that experience. Feel what it feels like to have achieved that. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's in business, maybe it's family, maybe it's an adventure. And even anchor it. Anchor it by seeing it in all your senses and experiencing it, living in that moment. And then help you walk through all the senses and anchor it. And so, something you can do by really visualizing it. And then when you feel ready and you feel sure of your desire from your intuition, you can open your eyes. And if you ever need help locking it in, you can talk to both of us too about that. And bringing that into your heart. Yeah, keep it in your heart too.
Anchor it, yeah.
Yeah, anchoring it there. And then I'll do a twist on what we normally ask is, well, what are three, well, sort of, we ask this too, but what are 3 action steps you can take today? Or you can take that will take you towards this goal. And so maybe you pause this video and you spend a little bit of time journaling of what do you need to do to reach this desire in your heart? And again, just listen to your intuition, whatever comes to mind. Another action step could be gaining clarity or decluttering.
It's so beautiful. I just love this process because like your intuition is the life force moving through you. So as you did such a beautiful job, like I'm just like so proud of you. I just feel so honored to have you part of the team doing this because you take people so deep. And then it naturally, like, you know, she asked the questions like, what's your 3 steps? You already know. And then it's taking that, it just comes instantly. So it's so beautiful. And by the way, it's like, this is what happens when you become more intuitive. Like, did you notice how she's like, I see green. And now this, it's like those gifts, those clairvoyance, the clairaudience starts opening. And it's like, oh my God, I can see beyond the physical and then actually bring that higher frequency into the physical to manifest money, love, health, everything, right? So that's why we even go to our intuition, as we get that higher perspective, right? So Alyssa's been doing this for years now, and so she knows, right? And she's done it in her life. And so me too, forever. But it's just kind of like, the whole point is everybody's intuitive. So that's why it's like we're kind of opening doors for you, to be like, oh yeah, this works, and that's why we do the chakras. It's like, whew, they just explode open, and her workshop is going to take you through those steps, So I think just really trusting what you got and taking action. I think that's the other piece that I'd like to add is, what are the action steps? Do it. Not do it.
And just a little note on that is we are all intuitive, but it doesn't mean we always listen. I spent the first probably 10 years of my business life ignoring my intuition and like listening to my mind. And it was like pushing a boulder up a hill. And as soon as I flipped the switch and I'm like, I'm going to listen to these desires and ideas that just inspire me and light me up.
Yeah.
And life changed. It's like, when you're stuck in that mess of being like, I have to get all this work done, or I have to do these, or I have to, you don't give yourself the freedom and play. And then your intuition, again, it becomes magical.
Yeah, it totally does. Well, it's connecting to an intelligence higher than your mind. That's why.
Yeah.
So there's like science behind it now. So it's like I tried it as a kid and it worked, and then I got it and it totally proved it was correct.
And that's sort of my passion too. Is I'm like, I love the energy behind it, and then I want the neuroscience too. I'm like, I want the psychology, I want the brain science,
right?
And then I bring them all together. So I'm like, this is what happens, and now I know why.
Yeah, exactly. So good. You're so good at it. Well, that's cool. So where's the workshop? They can just go to your website to get access to that.
Yes. We'll put the link out. It is alyssawilliamson.com/2022 /2022-manifesting-workshop. But if you go to alyssawilliamson.com/learn more, you'll get it too. But I'll put the link everywhere. And Angela, I'm so glad this hit it off with you. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, I was going to say you can pop it in the chat too. Yeah. If you want to pop that link. And Angela, I'm sorry, I don't have the audio on. So if you want to write your question, I'm sure Alyssa would love to answer you for sure. If you want to do that. And if she wants to do that, and we can give her a few minutes, the second piece on trusting your intuition. So you've connected us to it. What about trusting? So what are some ways and techniques that we can trust and know and have the discernment? Yes, that is my intuition talking. I can absolutely trust that.
Learning what feels like yes and no to you. So I love muscle testing because my body physically moves.
Yeah.
And so for muscle testing, what you do is you stand up facing north with your eyes closed, and you have to be well hydrated. And you just ask, show me a yes, show me a no. Mm-hmm. And if you're not getting that, you need more hydration. Then you need drink more, like touch your kidneys.
Yeah. And
that's how you get a yes or no. Or you can just be like, show me yes. Notice if there's like a heaviness. Show me yes is lightness, heaviness is no. Often find out it's almost like a journey with yourself and your intuition to find out how you talk to each other.
Mm-hmm. Your yes.
Again, making it fun, and just asking your body, okay, what does yes look like to me? What does this feel like? Mm-hmm. And then you can ask questions like, sometimes I'm like, should I eat this? Or what should I do now? Should I go do this? Should I do this for marketing? Blah, blah, blah. Like you can ask questions too and get a yes or no answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Michelle was talking about it in her Live Your Best Life course, like rather than saying should, say, what do I want to do? Actually give yourself permission to say, like, what do I actually want? Because the should, I know for me, it's always like, well, what should I do? And then it like brings this like judgment piece in. So it's kind of like,
or the other way is, what do I get to do?
Yeah, it's a good one too. Totally. I love that.
Actually, here, I'll put the other link.
Yeah, it looks like you can post in there. This, for some reason, it was on the private chat, but I might be able. I'm just afraid to press it on you guys, just in case.
Yeah, I can put it in the private chat. I don't know how to put it.
No, you got it. Chat. You're good. It's there. We have your workshop.
Yeah.
So for trusting your intuition, it's finding your body yeses and your body nos, and just going with that.
Yeah. Well, and then asking it questions. Like again, the more you use it, it's like a muscle. The more you use it, The more you connected you are, the more you can trust it, the more you will trust it, I guess. Then you're like, oh, I'm comfortable. You become comfortable with this. And then it's a tool and a resource that you start to use on your own rather than something that's unfamiliar and scary.
Totally. And I think one of the ways that you can also just make that even stronger is to remember all the times that you have followed your intuition in the past. And then that just helps you trust yourself more. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, when I followed my intuition that time, it really worked. Oh, my intuition is trustworthy. Good. You know, like it's my best friend. We're good. You know?
You find things.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with our audience today, Liz?
Just you really do have everything you need within you. And sometimes it sounds so cliche, but that's because there's just that stuff to release and let go.
Yeah.
When you live your highest self, you live your fullest potential.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, that's part of the reason that the intuitive success coaching process that we teach works is exactly what she said. You're releasing the negative, but then you're actually changing your inner energy to then become the magnet for what you want to match, right? So it's like as you release the negative, you open up to the highest truth, your soul truth. You become that highest love. You're literally like, I mean, think about when you walk into a room or somebody walks into a room and it feels really good. You just want to like come towards them. It's the same thing with all of your desires. It's like, oh my God, like that feels really good. It wants to move towards it, right? Yeah. So it really is like mastering your energy, master your life, right? So that's what we teach you how to do. And then she's offering like this clarity piece of this workshop of like, hey, what specifically do you want? Like, how do you want to use your intuition? Because then it's like intention, what you want, marries your intuition, your guidance. Sweet, let's go, you know?
Take action, yeah. And it's amazing how quickly once you gain clarity, how much faster it happens than you think.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this will be a while off. And then bam, you're like, oh, I guess that happened.
You know, one of the blocks that I think has come up for me is the second guessing. So my intuition will instantly know, but the mind can come in. And I remember when I first channeled this process, I said, it's the first thing that you feel, that's your intuition. And the second one is totally your mind. So if you can feel that first gut intuition and run with it, literally, you're good. When you start going into your mind, it's kind of like a spin. It's a second guessing thing. So just know that, like, I feel like that can be like a pitfall, and it's okay. You're kind of like, all right, reroute, like go back to the path. Like intuition is now saying this, right? And then you just keep moving forward with your next best intuitive step. But just know that like, it's okay. You're not alone. Like the path is still there. Like your soul is like eternal and it knows the way, right? So it's kind of like, all right, like we're just going to reroute you back on it. But just kind of like warning sign, you know, like self-doubt pitfalls.
And that's a huge part of why, a huge foundation of what I focus on is mindset, because when you have the right mindset, say your mindset is you trust that the universe will rearrange itself to your best interest.
Yeah.
Then even if you make a mistake, you're like, it's okay, it's going to work out. Yeah. But if you're like, oh, everything's out to get me, then you don't have that faith and hope and trust. And that's where your thoughts and your mindset is the foundation for everything that you'll believe too.
Totally.
And so
I love that.
It's foundational work working on your mindset.
I love that. Anything else you want to add to that? Because I feel like that's like your specialty.
That is like, yes. I say I'm a manifesting coach, but really the core of what I do is like I'm a mindset coach. And so a lot of that is a process of finding those beliefs. It ties into what you believe in your subconscious. So you could believe, a common one is, oh, like I'm from 2 generations of immigrants. So my family is like, oh, you just have to work really hard to be successful. So we've all been successful, but by working really, really hard. And when I finally figured out that belief and where it came from and was able to like thank my ancestors for it too and release it, I didn't like suddenly life freed up and I'm like, oh, I don't have to work really hard to make money anymore. Like that was a belief that was controlling my life. For the first 20 years of my life, first 10 years of my business in my 20s, I was a workaholic because that's what I believe. That's what I learned. Well, when you work really hard, you're successful. And so it's those things, or I'm not worthy of money. So you'll find that you either have trouble receiving money or it just goes out, like you make a lot of money and it all just disappears. You're like, where did it go? It's because you don't subconsciously believe that you deserve to have money. And so it's things like that, working through mindset.
Yeah, and I think the thing I wanted to add to that is the beauty of your intuition is it actually knows the truth. So you could say some of those beliefs like you just said, and they're not true, right? They're just beliefs are basically, I've said this before, anytime you have a thought that's connected with an emotion, you create a belief, right? And it becomes real and your body stores that as memory, subconscious, like you said. But when you get in touch with your intuitive truth, it knows, it will tell you, no, that's actually not true. And we can actually reprogram that belief to be something positive that then supports you to get what you want. And so that's why I feel like it's just so empowering to, use this process to say, yeah, okay, that's not true. Thanks. I'm going to trust my intuition and I'm going to reprogram my mind and have new positive beliefs that now support me to having what I want. And then, oh my goodness, I'm living what I love,
Mm-hmm. And I had a thought on that I just lost.
It'll come back.
Well, yeah.
Just get more grounded too. I mean, that's what I, get more grounded in your body. Go ahead.
And that's where muscle testing come in. You can say, do I have the belief that I have to work really hard to make money? And then again, that's like, you can be like, oh, I do have this belief. Even though my intuition tells me it's not true, I have this belief, so I can work on that and now I can clear it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
So right. Muscle testing is such a great tool.
Yeah, totally. And it doesn't have to be hard. Like that, sometimes it's like work on yourself. It's like you're already perfect, whole, and complete as you are. It just means that belief may not be serving you. So like we can teach you how to let it go.
Shed the layers, shed the baggage, declutter. Declutter to become your true self rather than all of the beliefs you picked up as a child and all of the stuff you picked up along the way from,
Totally. And that's the essence, right? The essence of you is the soul. It's that pureness of light within you. And so it's kind of like you're just releasing all the layers if there's any like buildup between you and your connection to your own light and intuition. And then, releasing anything that's like not true about you. Basically anything that makes you feel bad. Like I said, like feeling God is feeling good or feeling good is feeling God. That's the answer.
And that's the thing is like you can pick up beliefs as a kid. You make beliefs to help you survive. Your subconscious is helping you survive. So it's like, oh, when this happens, that hurts. So like, no, that's not a good thing. So like I have a close friend who's a trauma specialist. She specializes in helping women from the trauma and beliefs they created from being in an abusive relationship. And so they created these as an adult, these beliefs about themselves that they're not worthy or something because of a relationship where someone they loved didn't treat them well, and clears that. So
very cool.
Yeah. So it's like you can pick up stuff as an adult too and make these, you're still making beliefs as an adult too. It's not like just as a kid.
Right. No, I was thinking about that earlier. Yeah, it's not necessarily just childhood. I mean, it's just, life. I mean, anytime I feel like there's a disconnection from love, Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. Putting boundaries up if there's like, nope, you don't have to do that. You can stay in the love, protect your own light too, and then shine it, share it. Let's see. Anything else you want to add to that piece? About belief that anybody wants to share anything that's coming through from them, like a belief that you'd like to clear, or an intuitive question, we're definitely here for a little bit longer. So just feel free to type that in the chat. Liz, was anything else coming through for you?
There's no one right way to clear. That's the thing too, is again, trust your intuition and trust your knowing. There's different modalities. Like some people go to therapists too. I've never been to a therapist, but that's another way to clear things too. It's what feels right to you and follow that path. Like our clients work with us because they intuitively know that we can help them. And that's why they're in front of us. And so if something's calling to you, if this person keeps popping up in your mind or this book or this technique, follow your intuition and listen to it.
So cool. I love that. I mean, it's such a great example, but it's kind of like the magnetic thing I was saying, right? It's like you're feeling their energy or our energy, like, oh, I want to work with them. Like, it just feels good. You're drawn to it, So it's like, it doesn't have to be like a hard thing. It's an easy decision, and just trust those feelings. It's kind of like going down a river almost. So you're just kind of flowing. You're like, oh, this feels good. Now I'm going to go here, just going with it. Feels really good.
Yeah, go with the flow. Don't paddle upriver.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so good. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It's always so fun to connect. And we have so many great things, you guys. I don't know how many of you have been following the Intuitive Child, but that's going to be launching even more in January. So stay tuned to that at theintuitivechild.co. We have that coming out in Spanish. We actually did start launching it. I think it was last week, so you can purchase it right now. But we're going to be doing some more videos and stuff on it, and super excited about that. So,
and I just have to say, like, this is so powerful because that's something I'm excited about is when I have kids, that all these things I know, I get to teach them and impart to them and lift them up. And so I'm so excited that there's this intuitive program for children too, because society doesn't teach us that. We've all had to learn, oh, I can trust my intuition. Society doesn't teach us that.
Yeah, I'm just laughing because 2 nights ago, it was like 3:30 in the morning, and I'm like, got this download because we're like, building out the company and expanding it to more countries. And so I write this, to Alyssa and everybody else on the team. Then she texts me at like, I don't know, 9:30 or sometime in the morning. She's like, Abby, can I share the dream that you had? Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. She's like, Abby, had this dream. It was kind of like Noah's Ark, and you're like saving all these people. And I was like, yep, we're just teaching more intuition, girl. So it's just so fun because even that, it's energy, it's frequencies, that is the intuitive way things are happening, at just the higher soul levels, right? And so it starts to become so magical because really everything is starting in energy first. So that's why it's when you get to these, we were talking about earlier, the higher vibrations you create from that place, then you're doing the grounding exercises to integrate it into your body to then become that magnet, so to speak, that person that's bringing in all the good. So it's just fun because things like that and so much more can happen, so it just cracks me up, and I just, wanted to share that. We're just so excited you're a part of it,
The synchronicities, keeping an eye out for synchronicities, looking for things that look magical in your life.
Yeah.
So that you then see the proof of them happening.
Yeah, totally. They're everywhere. Open your heart and follow your intuition. It's there for you. All right, everyone. Well, have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Lots of love.
Thank you.
Bye.